Hi everyone, I'm Jenny, and I'm thrilled to connect with you today about something that changed my life: English writing. 8 years ago, I couldn't write a proper email in English. Now, I write articles for magazines, create content for websites, and even help translate documents. The journey wasn't quick or easy, but it was worth every moment. I grew up in a city where English was taught as just another school subject. We focused on memorizing grammar rules and vocabulary lists. When I tried to write something real, like a letter or story, I felt completely stuck. My teachers marked my papers with red ink everywhere, and I thought I would never improve. Today, I want to share my journey from that frustrated beginner to someone who writes confidently in English every day. I've discovered methods that really work, and I believe they can help you too. Are you ready to transform your English writing skills? Let's begin this adventure together. When I first tried writing in English, I felt like I was trying to swim with my hands tied. I knew what I wanted to say in my native language, but finding the right English words felt impossible. I would write one sentence, delete it, try again, and still feel unsatisfied. Sometimes I spent an hour writing just a few lines. Learning to write in English is like planting a garden. At first, you see only bare soil. You water it daily, but nothing seems to happen. Then one day, tiny green shoots appear. With continued care, those small beginnings grow into something beautiful. Writing skills grow the same way, slowly but surely, with regular attention. I used to hide my writing because I was embarrassed by my mistakes. Then I read advice from a famous writer who said, "Write your first draft with your heart and your second draft with your head." This changed everything for me. I started to see mistakes not as failures, but as steps toward improvement. Each error showed me something specific to learn. My turning point came during an online course I took 3 years into my learning journey. The teacher asked us to write a short story and share it with classmates. I was terrified, but I wrote about my grandmother's cooking and submitted it. To my surprise, my classmates loved it. They said my simple words created vivid pictures in their minds. That day, I realized that effective writing isn't about perfect grammar, it's about connecting with readers. This gave me the courage to write more and share more. I discovered that immersion in authentic materials was crucial for my progress. Instead of starting with children's books as many teachers suggest, I began with song lyrics of my favorite English songs. I would translate them, study the expressions, and then try to write my own verses using similar patterns. Music helped me internalize the rhythm and flow of English writing. Podcast transcripts became my next learning tool. I would listen to a short podcast segment, write down what I heard, then compare my version to the official transcript. This exercise improved both my listening and writing simultaneously, while exposing me to natural conversational English. I created themed vocabulary collections rather than studying random word lists. For example, I'd gather all words related to expressing opinions or describing emotions. Then I'd practice writing paragraphs using only those themed words. This approach helped me develop richer, more precise expression in specific contexts. One technique that dramatically improved my sentence structure was reverse translation. I would take an English paragraph, translate it into my native language, wait a day, then translate it back to English without looking at the original. Comparing my version with the original showed me alternative ways to express the same ideas. I turned social media into my writing classroom. I created a private Instagram account where I posted one English caption daily about my life or thoughts. The character limit forced me to be concise and clear. Over time, I made this account public and connected with other English learners worldwide. I developed a language swap system with 3 friends who were native English speakers learning my language. We created an online shared document where we'd write short texts, correct each other's work using different color codes: red for grammar, blue for vocabulary, green for style. This color coding made patterns in my mistakes visible. I volunteered to write English content for local businesses in my city that wanted to attract international customers. I wrote simple descriptions for restaurant menus, shop brochures, and tourist information. This real-world writing with actual consequences pushed me to be accurate and effective in my communication. I also started a weekly challenge habit where I'd attempt a completely different writing style each week: a formal complaint letter, a humorous story, a product review, a persuasive essay. This versatility practice prevented me from getting too comfortable with just one type of writing and expanded my stylistic range. The perfectionism trap was my biggest obstacle. I would write and rewrite a single paragraph endlessly, never satisfied. I overcame this by implementing a timer technique, setting a 15-minute timer, and forcing myself to complete a full draft before it went off. This taught me to prioritize getting ideas down over perfect expression. I struggled with comparing my writing to native speakers, which left me feeling inadequate. Therefore, I shifted my perspective by creating a progress portfolio, a collection of my writing samples from every 3 months. Reviewing this portfolio showed me my improvement trajectory rather than comparing myself to an impossible standard. Fear of judgment prevented me from sharing my writing. I addressed this by finding a safe audience, first just my language teacher, then a small supportive online group, and gradually wider audiences. Each positive interaction built my resilience against potential criticism. I also developed a growth mindset ritual to combat negative self-talk. Whenever I caught myself thinking, "I can't write well in English," I would immediately reframe it as "I'm still learning to write well in English," and write down one specific thing I had improved at recently. This simple reframing had powerful effects on my persistence. I created a personalized feedback system using technology. I installed grammar-checking tools, but with a twist. Instead of just accepting their corrections, I kept a spreadsheet tracking the types of errors flagged most frequently. This data helped me identify and focus on my specific weakness patterns. I developed a sentence bank approach to build fluency. I collected useful sentence structures from my reading and organized them by function, comparing, contrasting, giving examples, etc. When writing, I would challenge myself to incorporate at least 3 new structures from my bank. This gradually expanded my structural repertoire. To maintain motivation during plateaus, I established a writing buddy system with accountability check-ins. My partner and I would set weekly goals, share our progress midweek, and review each other's work at week's end. The commitment to someone else kept me going when my own motivation wavered. I also created artificial deadlines by signing up for writing competitions or submitting articles to English language publications. Even when my work wasn't selected, the experience of preparing work for real submission elevated my attention to quality and pushed me beyond my comfort zone. Developing strong English writing skills has transformed my personal and professional life. It has allowed me to connect with people worldwide, express my ideas clearly, and open doors to opportunities I never imagined possible. The skills you're building now will serve you in countless ways in the future. Improving your English writing is like tending a bonsai tree. It requires patience, consistent care, and strategic pruning. Sometimes growth is invisible, but with persistent attention, something beautiful and unique emerges that reflects both the natural pattern of the language and your personal expression within it. Imagine yourself 1 year from now, writing fluently in English. Picture yourself sending professional emails without hesitation, writing creative stories that others enjoy reading, or perhaps even starting a blog that attracts readers from around the world. These goals are within your reach with consistent practice. Remember that becoming a good writer in any language is a journey, not a destination. There will always be more to learn and ways to improve. The most important thing is to keep writing, keep learning, and keep believing in your ability to grow. Thank you for letting me share my story with you today. I'd love to know which of these methods resonates most with you. Will you try the daily writing habit, the mistake journal, or perhaps finding a writing partner? Whatever you choose, I encourage you to start today. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate your current confidence in English writing? Take a moment to think about it. Now imagine where that number could be 6 months from now if you practice regularly. Before we say goodbye, I challenge you to take one small action right now. Choose just one technique I've mentioned and try it for 5 minutes today. Remember, small, consistent steps lead to remarkable progress over time.